Hello, today I would like to go over some viewer questions. If you would like your question answered, comment it in the video and I will do my best to get to it. A lot of these are repeat questions, so if I get a bunch of repeats, I will try to make like dedicated videos like for those topics and for those questions. And the purpose of this is more of like informal. I'm not gonna, do a whole bunch of research when answering these questions. This is just gonna be based on like my experience in the field. So like disclaimer here, I'm not an expert. I've just been doing this for a while. Mohammed writes in, I'm learning network engineering. How can I get some remote project work that can help me improve my skill? There's a few different ways to help you improve your skills with like trying to get that first job. Number one is, if you have a home lab, do some lab projects, post about it, get recognized that way. Like just treat your home lab as like a little project den that you go through, you do some interesting things, and then you talk about those interesting things during like an interview. Option number two, look to any like local volunteer or church group. I know those are two really good options for like low cost or barrier to entry. Those are organizations that are generally underserved, but they still require IT support and help. So you can definitely like beef out their networking. Another one is to look for all the contract positions. So go on LinkedIn and look for contract to hire or like agency level jobs. Like those recruiters looking for that temporary work. That's a really great place to get started. I know some people that have never left that. They just keep going from contract job to contract job, and they just 1099 everything, and they just line jobs up accordingly. And then when they don't want to work anymore for a period of like 3 months, they want to go on vacation, they just don't accept the next job. It's a really easy way to get a lot of time off. TikTok virals, thanks. Will learning Net Plus and CCNA be enough to get a remote network engineer job? I always say, like, if you're banking just on certifications or if you're banking just on experience, it's kind of a mix of the two. So those two are really great to start out, and then go look for projects or your first job in your first role. Now, remote work has become much more popular than non-remote work lately. So it's so much easier to get a remote network engineering job than it used to be. I just, like, in my personal experience, I just asked and they said yes. And I had been expressing that I had wanted to do that for so long, but I never put in like the formal request before, like through our HR department. Okay, so Jeyu writes, and I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. I spent at least a minute this morning trying to learn that.
Jeju. Jeju.
Do you know if you could work from another country if you're hired as remote? So the answer to that is, of course, it depends. It seems like everything in life is it depends. Does the company that you wish to work for have an office in the location in which you live? If the answer to that question is yes, there's a very good chance that you'll be able to work remotely from there. A lot of policies used to be that you had to look for a job within a certain radius of an office location, like 50 to 100 to 150 miles within a certain region. And the thought process with that is if you had to come in, if you had to submit equipment, if you had to get equipment, like it was a lot easier to ship to office locations. And there's probably some HR rules around why that is, but I've never worked in HR, so I don't know. But like if they have an office location there, chances are they're already paying their taxes that they have to for the employees that work within that office. So that's your best bet, I would say. There's a lot of awesome job portals. I know Equinix does a really nice job. We can see if we can bring up their job portal here. There we go. Equinix does a really nice job of covering the globe, and so that's a really good chance. You could search on their portals, see what jobs are in which region, see if you have a remote capability. If you want to work from a US-based company into another country, there's a lot of issues around that I have no personal experience with. I know some engineers that use that method and have gone through that process, but I've personally not had to deal with that issue. My personal job, remote job specification says I can work anywhere in the contiguous 48 states in the US. So that's anywhere where all the land touches. I can work in that land mass. About my remote projects themselves, I'm 100% remote right now, so all of my projects are technically remote. So that can range from our compliance programs. That's a huge part of my day-to-day right now, is just making sure that all of our systems and all of our fleet are in compliance with standards, be that from the federal government, from the governing bodies, whatever the compliance program is. If it has to do with the networking side of the fleet, I get asked those questions. So I just make sure that all of our systems are in line with that. Within that, we have tens of thousands of devices that we have to answer for. So I try to automate all of my tasks in order to accomplish that goal. So running scripts, running like Ansible playbooks, making sure that all of the systems are functioning. Other projects are I'm on the lab team, so any new code upgrades that come through, any proof of concept designs. I'm one of the local guys here to our lab, so I'm able to go in and rack and stack devices and help set up everything and turn up everything, and then do proof of concepts, whether that be like a new network design that we want to do for our backbone infrastructure, or just anything that we need proved out. Basically, if we're bringing in a new vendor, or if a vendor is upgrading their code, we need to make sure that the code that we're going to, or the device that we're going to bring in, isn't going to break the rest of our fleet. So we run it through its paces, and we make sure that the code that we're going to doesn't break anything, and we also make sure that the device won't screw anything up. I don't know. I think I just repeated myself there. Fun things, I guess you could say. I'm trying to also keep up with the industry and the standards and all this other stuff, but there's just so much going on in IT, and it's really hard to keep up and stay current with everything. So I'm struggling on that front right now, and I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better at being better. So that's also a fun project here. Black Mage color grading sounds like a deep rabbit hole. Yeah, it is. Wondering how many years of experience do you have and what certifications? So I have it's either 14 or 15, I lost count, of years of experience in the field, and I have over 15 certifications. So a handful of Cisco, a handful of microwave engineering, a handful of operational excellence, so like the IDLES and all that. I have my PMP, and then I have a smattering of compliance certifications, so all over the board. 2020, right? Dude, just love your channel and videos. You bring me joy and smiles. You're making a positive difference in life. In life, keep your lovely videos and ideas coming. Peace. Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that. Trey wrote in and said, networking student who will finish in May of 2022. He's also a computer technician with over a year of experience, and he's 19. So already killing it, by the way. You're currently studying for CCNA, plan to move to Fort Worth after graduation to further your career in networking, which I'm truly passionate. Glad to hear it. You've been looking for jobs, seemed finding an entry-level knock in Fort Worth area is near impossible. I currently live in Mississippi, so not sure how it's all going to work out. Should I really start applying 3 to 4 months prior of? What I would say here is, and I did write, most of these like initial ones I already wrote comments to, but we'll just rehash them in a video. So Trey, what I would say is, this is actually 3 or 4 months out, and that was 3 months ago. So you're a month out. If you've already found a job, throw a comment down in this video. Let us know. I'm interested to hear how this progressed. But it's really a good idea to start applying for a job before you need that job. So you have a lot more leverage. You have a lot more. You can be way more picky. You can look at the surrounding regions. So I would say 3 to 4 months is plenty of time. It's like a good amount of time, but not too much time. You're not applying for jobs like a year in advance, 6 months in advance. I would say unless you like have things like a house and like if I were to have to move and relocate for a job, it would take a lot of effort. I would have to sell my house or rent out my house, get that all ready. That's going to take a month minimum. And then I would have to find a new location in that city, either probably renting, because in a new location, you don't really know where you want to live. Chances are you don't have a house. You can just rent at different locations. Yeah, definitely start looking for a job. Entry-level knock in the Fort Worth area. So you are correct that knock specific jobs aren't in absolutely every city. They're in the major metroplexes. I would say there are a bunch of knocks up in Dallas. I'm not sure if they're in Fort Worth specifically, but depending on like where your location is, you can look around in the surrounding areas for it. or you can look for a remote knock job. I know a lot of knocks are opting to allow their staffs to work remotely, so I'd start looking there. And like I said in the comment, worst case scenario, if you spend a few months interviewing for jobs before you move out there, the worst thing that'll happen is everyone will tell you no, and you'll just walk away with valuable interviewing experience. You'll know what types of questions will be asked to you like for those interviews. So when you do move, you'll be much better prepared in the local market to go out and seek out a job. Oh, Trey, I missed your comment. I'm sorry, man. So interestingly enough, YouTube lets me know when there's a new comment, but when I reply, it doesn't let me know that like the user replied to my reply. So yeah, my LinkedIn is just my name. So feel free to connect with me. Mage says, I'm looking for a summer free paid internship and they're an international student at VT. If you're just looking for a free internship and you are at a local university, go to that university because a lot of times the IT departments spend their summers upgrading the equipment, performing code upgrades. I know this was summer and we're now in the winter, but this will still work come whatever semester you're in. A lot of the times they spend the in between semesters upgrading equipment. The IT help desk as well. I worked there for a semester, repairing ports that students would jam things into, or fix students, laptops trying to get them onto the internet. Like that was a huge little bonus, and it got me my very first experience dealing with like a call center type environment, and that was very interesting. So I would check that out. I'm just getting so many like awesome comments. I'm reading through them all. I really appreciate it. This is funny. Justin writes in, hi, I recently finished my degree in IT with security networking focus, A+ CCNA completed. First off, congratulations. That's amazing. You have help desk experience. That's awesome. Applying for jobs for network engineering. Any advice on applying? Because a lot of these jobs seem like they require 5+ years managing enterprise networks. Excellent point. Help desk, I mean, personally, I saw that as a stepping stone. Many people spend their entire careers in help desk, and that's completely fine if that's what you want to do. I wanted to go into network engineering, and that's also why I went through all the schooling and got all the degrees and the certifications and all that stuff. So awesome that you're continuing down that path. Specific job titles. Okay, so I would not be concerned about the number of years associated to a job title. I just would not even look at that, to be honest with you. Many of these job postings in HR firms, they have like these templates that they have to use. So if you're like a junior network engineer, that comes with a certain year range, let's say 1 to 3. Or if you're looking for network engineer 1, a lot of people will just use a template that says 2 to 5 years of experience. That doesn't necessarily mean that that organization at that time requires that individual to have 2 to 5 years of experience. Usually what happens is that they peruse their templates. Maybe the hiring manager reviews the template, if you're lucky, once every 3 years, and they just post the job posting. HR controls a lot of that, like with the marketing and with the job posting and making sure that the posts are out on the job boards. So a lot of the times it's not even the hiring managers looking to, let me rephrase this. You might feel like you have to self-eliminate from the job posting and the job role based on years of experience. Now, as an entry-level person, I wouldn't go for 10 plus or ultra senior roles. I wouldn't choose like a principal architect role when I'm first starting out. What I would rather focus on, rather than the number attached to how many years you've been doing it, is what have you accomplished? What have you completed? Can you showcase any projects that you've completed within the last few years that you're proud of? Are you showing that you're keeping up with industry trends? Are you trying? Are you interested? Are you motivated? Those are the things that I would be looking for in a candidate. If somebody came to me and they said, hey, I have 2 certifications, I just finished school, I have 5 projects on my belt, this is what I'm interested in doing, I want to grow into this environment, I'd be way more like excited to talk to that person about a job role than somebody that's been in the industry for 10 plus years, isn't really excited for the job and just wants to sit around and collect a paycheck. That's not what I would be interested in talking to, So I wouldn't let the number of years on the job posting discourage you, and I also wouldn't self-eliminate based on the number of years. Now, if you read through the job posting and you don't know half of what it says, or if you don't know, I would go on like percentage of job posting. Do I understand the words that are in there? And do I understand the technologies that are in the job posting? If you don't understand half of it, don't apply for the job. Or apply for the job saying, hey, I'm just starting out, I'm learning. Are you accepting entry level roles for this posting? And if you're not, are there other roles or opportunities within your organization that I can, that I can talk to you about? A lot of opportunity that I've seen personally is going to the recruiters for the different organizations, talking to them about a specific job, but then if it's not a match, not ending the phone call. Instead, just saying, hey, okay, I know we're not a fit here. Are there any other opportunities within your organization that you could see a fit? They might be a fit, they might not be a fit, but at least you like have that conversation and open that door. And I still do this to this day. There's still recruiters that, I have their information and contact information to, and I just check in on them every once in a while and say, hey, what are the opportunities? Is there anything interesting? And they already know my criteria of what I'm looking for. So it's a very simple conversation. It's saying, okay, I need X number of dollars, I need full remote, I need this, I need that. And if they don't have anything, they're just like, no, not yet, we'll keep looking. Or if they do, they're like, oh, what about this, what about this, what about this? And then we can have a conversation about it. Actually, I need to probably call a few. I haven't done a check-in in a while. I probably need to do that. And that's it for me. A quick Q&A session. I've had some really good feedback and comments on my videos, and I really do appreciate it. It makes me want to keep going and continue doing it, because I gotta tell you, when I've worked all day and I've worked out and I'm sitting on the couch, the last thing I want to do is think of like a video idea. So no, that's not true. I do want to think of these video ideas. That's all I think about. I really appreciate all the comments and questions and support on the channel. I'm gonna try to keep doing these, so if you have any questions, throw them down in the comments below and I will get to them in the next Q&A. I don't know, we'll set up a cadence or something for these, but that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. And all of my batteries and my cameras are dying. I only have a minute of recording time on my my first card. This is great. Great start to a video.